Camera is fuzzy. I don't know. I think it's fine if I'm a little buzzed
It's weird because you're clear.
on my camera, but
Yeah.
that one over there,
Yeah, it's weird.
it's the owl. The owl needs glasses.
Maybe that was just.
Let's see. Let's see if it works.
Drop beat, half beat.
Okay, say something. Oh, no, a little.
Recording in progress.
Okay, let's call to order the CAPS meeting at 6:01 p.m. We have a roll call, please.
Yes, Chairman Andrew Vaughn,
Here.
Stephanie Coffin, here. Sherry Smith, Liza McKenzie, Chris New, Susan Show. Oh my God, I do this every time. Valier. Brandon Opaka.
Here.
Trustee Hammerly. I look at my phonetic and then I should not panic. I need this.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? We'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Motion to approve the agenda. Second.
You? All right, do we have anybody who wants?
Recording stopped.
Oh my goodness.
Recording in progress.
Do we need to restart?
No, they'll
Somebody
stitch
has
it.
to splice it now.
Yeah, they'll stitch it.
All right, do we have anybody for public comment?
Nope, we do not.
All right, let's move into all of our staff updates. Been busy.
Yeah, so just wanted to share the, Q3 budget report and just to let you know that for Q4, I'll give them to you monthly. Just because you're getting towards the end of the year, okay? So I just want to point out a couple of things that you'll see in red, a coding error on my part, so I owe you $600. So that total actually is in red at the bottom. What your current total is, and I went ahead and you'll see the italicized line items that, took into account the mural budget. Okay, so that at least gives you a somewhat of a better idea of where you are, and then your discretionary budget, which is below that.
Yeah, and this is all, I'll just add, this is all gonna get spent right here at the end of the year. We've got art install things coming up. We're gonna have art leases, I suspect, and some other events, so, yeah.
Yeah,
But we're doing good. We're in the black.
yeah, doing pretty good.
Chris has been entirely too efficient. That's the problem.
Was that digital events? Oh, I know. That's off the back.
If you could look at the screen,
Wow,
Aww.
very good.
so the big move happened on Wednesday morning. A total of 7,000 pounds, a total of 8 people took a village. I want to just say that, you know, some town staff that have some amazing skills with, forklifts and stuff, because the concrete pad was separate. You know, the artist came out, Mitch Levin, he's, you know, took the sculpture off of the base. Very thoughtfully when the piece was first installed at Sports Stable, the concrete, he put styrofoam in there to leave space for a forklift in the future. So that worked out beautifully, but it's still almost 5,000 pounds. And so it was really tough to kind of get at, and then, you know, it was driven across town and then up the berm and all of that. But, there was a space kind of dug out for it, and you know, it was compacted and all this stuff, and he first got it down and it was a little crooked, and he had this giant piece of machinery just nudging it, just fractions of inches, and it was just kind of a beautiful thing to see, like, wow. And then the art went on, and then all the planets aligned because we put a level down and it's perfectly level. I don't know if it'll stay that way, but looks really good. And just the few people who walked by were just thrilled to see it. One woman, when she realized that they were kind of angel wings in the shape of a heart, she got very tearful and was just really happy to see it there. So,
We considered a lot of things, right? This is, the an endpoint of the artery. The wings have kind of a back. So we placed them in a way where they're kind of facing, targets over here in the road.
Mhm.
So they're kind of facing the drive and facing where you can stand in front of them and with the proper camera angle, take a wing photo with no bathroom behind it. That vegetation will grow up. It'll be.
yeah, it'll be fine. So anyway, that was a kind of an exciting thing, but like I said, it took a village and we slowed a lot of traffic down and
Just slow roll the
It's-
forklift all the way across town.
with a giant piece of concrete on it, and but everybody at the sports stable was like really just shocked to see it going away.
So
So
now they've got a big gap. See what they do with that.
yeah. Okay, let me get.
How did you guys acquire that?
Caps bought it before my time.
So it started out as a loan. And it started out as a loan and there was an easement agreement with Sports Stable because that's not town land. So I think they just kind of pushed it through and made it happen. I've not been able to find any engineering work or insurance or anything. So I am. And so, I think it's just in a better place now. Let's just say that.
Okay.
It's got all of the boxes are checked now, so I think that's a
We
good
can
thing.
get a piece of art out of it, because I wouldn't be surprised if the stable decides they need to finance something to go there on their own terms.
Yeah. Okay, so, do you want me to go into budget on the installs, or do you want me to hold off?
Just hold off, mention that
Okay.
we're placing the Coyote Hawk and the Silencio. And we've got a discussion item for talking about the cost of
The
those.
cost of that, but I'll tell you, so Coyote Hawk is slated to go in the median up by Eldo and Wildflower. The juniper bushes have been cut away just in the center. The hole has been dug. It's, it's all been prepped. Let's just say that. It's ready to go for the next step. Rock Creek Parkway, same thing. It's ready to go. And so now that the hearts are moved, then I get back with Parks to get them to get the concrete pads put into place, and then we get the artists out. So the artists are both ready to go. We just gotta get to that next step, but we're waiting on the last part of engineering and budget approval.
And we had Mike Clapper out, and he was standing there with us in the middle of Rock Creek Parkway for
Mhm.
Silencio, so.
And he really loves the location. He really liked it quite a bit. He just picked it up from the Arvada Center last Friday. It's in his studio. He's refurbishing it. He's really excited to get it out here because obviously it's a much improved location for that piece. And I think it lost all of its elegance in that large field. And I think it's going to just be beautiful on Rock Creek Parkway. I really do.
Any more thoughts on getting those lights? That power, do we know if that power's hot?
No, it's not. I think that's gonna be down the road, but I think it'll happen. So,
Illuminated, the only thing illuminated at night would be.
so what he's referring to is the location that, that I got kind of in the middle prepped. I purposely chose it because there's an outlet really close. It's not hot, but it will be, so that we can eventually put some lights around it. So that white Yule marble will just look amazing. So that's kind of the update with that. The Gregory Fields, that location has, that's gonna be upcoming as well, and then Prairie Dogs will come last, but so we're just staging it all out. As soon as I'm back in town, I'm gonna have them on a weekly. That's my goal. So, but
Watch your suit.
yeah.
And then,
Monthly, quarterly, Wednesday.
Rogers Farm is also incoming.
So the last thing that'll, a handful of you were not involved in is Rogers Farm, which is the neighborhood as you go down McCaslin. It's off to the left. It's to the south of Town Hall on the other side of the creek.
For, probably
Is it the Lee houses?
And behind it, yeah. So along First and Second. There's what's called a pocket park in there. And one of the agreements with the developer was that they invest up to $50,000 for public art. And so an RFQ went out a few years back. There was a jurying process Andrew was involved in. An artist was selected. It's been a long process because once again, the land was not ours, it's theirs, and a lot of logistics won't get into right now, but I think the plan for the piece is to be installed towards the end of October, early November. He is working from a distance. He's in Boise, Idaho, and he is working long distance, getting concrete contractors lined up to get the pad poured. So that's gonna probably happen in the next week or two. And then hopefully, like I said, at the end of October, early November, he'll be trucking the piece down and getting it installed. So we're getting permits lined up and all of that, and cause you have to have right of way and all kinds of permits, and so,
Between now and the end of the year, we're gonna have Silencio, Coyote Hawk, Watch for Seer, the Rogers Farm piece, 110-foot mural.
that's amazing.
All
That's
prairie
gonna
dog-
be,
Prairie dogs back out.
that's gonna be a lot of accomplishment check marks. And so, yeah, that'll be great. And I will jump down to the volunteer celebration open house. I've asked you for volunteer hours, but I will be submitting a lot of photos for that because they run a slideshow during that, and we'll include all of these public art pieces, hopefully. So what that volunteer dinner is, it's just a nice open house dinner opportunity to thank you all for all the work you do for the town. And you'll get a formal invitation that Michaela sends out. I don't know if it's from Michaela, but it's Friday, November 8th, 6 to 8 p.m. So maybe mark your calendar if you can. Okay, jumping back up to C. Saturday, CAPS is no longer hosting plein air, but this year I sort of took it over to sort of do a test and kind of a different angle towards it. And so it's not a festival, it's a workshop. And it's got 2 sessions, morning and afternoon, and 60 slots per, and it's full. But just like with your workshops, I used Eventbrite, and I'm probably not gonna ever use it again. I'm gonna say that. It's been difficult. A lot of people have struggled with registering, and it's just, it's effective, but it's not. But either way, I'm assuming that not all of those people will show up, just like with yours. So, but I'm hoping they do. People are gonna get a really cool paint kit that includes an easel, like all the paints, all the goods. We have 6 instructors, 10 per. It's gonna be really neat. So that's happening on Saturday. Per my email to you, October 11th is kind of a hot date for any event information that you have for the remainder of this year, so I can get it in the queue for comms. But then also the deadline for Hello Superior for January, February, March. And I know it's really hard to be thinking January, February, March, but if you have anything, I need the standard list of stuff, the description, the dates, the location, and some promo photos.
Is there anything left in 2024 that you don't have? Because the ones down here, stained glass and needle felting, you're set for, right? For media,
I'm
Okay.
set for needle, but I'm not for yours.
For it in time, it didn't take, we didn't get it approved by CAPS in time to get it in the magazine.
right? Yeah, it
Which is
won't
why-
go in the magazine.
It won't go in the
It's
magazine.
coming out like to our.
But if you're still gonna do that
Yeah.
event, I'm gonna need your content.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, for just regular
Yeah, yeah.
comms. Yeah, okay. So any questions with that?
Well, are we gonna talk about workshops for
About
water?
25 later.
Yeah, in a little late,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. And then, this is not on my list, but I just wanted to pass this along. I got a phone call this morning from the executive director from the Boulder Philharmonic Orchestra, wanting to know if there's any opportunity to partner with CAPS. So I gonna pass this along to you just for information. I did respond to her just saying that if we just so happen to be having a meeting and that I would share the information, and if there's any interest in such a partnership, that CAPS would probably be the one to reach out.
Yeah, how big is the Boulder Philharmonic? I mean, do we have any venue? Because it says, see if there's any long-term plans or discussion around performing arts venues. Do we have any venue that could hold a Philharmonic?
We have the small ensembles too.
I mean, to the point where you could use this
Okay.
space or the civic space in the future or something. I don't know. I just wanted to pass that along. I thought that was a really interesting potential opportunity.
I'm not familiar with the magazine, Hello Magazine. Is there one, you think there's one by the desk?
There is.
Okay, and
There,
it will have something like from a previous CAPS event in it? Or is it-
or yeah, there's maybe. And then lastly, just as a reminder, I'm out of the office Monday through October 10th. Okay, so I would say Leslie Clark would be a good go-to. Andrew, I am gonna kind of pass some things off to Andrew that Andrew can definitely delegate back out. But there's gonna just be a lot of follow-up with, you know, the mural, the results of the mural, interviews, recommendations to the board, just so things stay on track while I'm gone is all, okay? So if you have any questions, let me know during or after the meeting. Okay, thank you.
Moving on to updates and debriefing. So for updates, Marshall Fire Memorial Subcommittee, that one's easy. We're in a holding pattern. I mentioned last meeting that we approved the follow-up survey and that got released. I think the release was, well, it was initially account required on the survey. I think that slowed down anyone who clicked on that link in the very first publication, but we've since pushed it a couple more times and we're now up to about 100 responses. Gigi and I just decided today to extend it another 2 weeks. So we're going to extend the survey, have comms pushed a couple more times to get, we had 400 responses to the first survey. So I think we can do better.
Yeah, we're up, I think, before I came in, I think we're up to 105 right now.
So the comms pushed a thing yesterday, a dedicated one, which was really nice. And it said, we're closing it at the end of the month or something. So people are probably like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And now we'll extend it and have a second. For reals, we're closing it in 2 weeks. And then the committee will meet and discuss those results. And what did we say we were going to do? October-ish.
Whatever that Monday is. Mhm.
All right. So we have, for debriefing, we've got the mural semifinalist preliminary meetings, and then down in the work plan check-in, we've also got just the status of the RFQ and the RFP. So these may blend a little bit, but we did the subcommittee match. We had 90 entrants to respondents to our RFQ, which was amazing. 5 of us plus JG did the jurying in cafe, which took a couple hours. And then we got together for about 2 hours and further whittled them down to our 3 favorites, which JG notified. And then we have already had our kind of one-on-one meetings with all 3 of those artists. That went really well. They're all fantastic. So I'm patting our committee on the back. I mean, these people are outstanding. We're gonna be hard pressed to choose. It'll depend on the art, obviously, but just fantastic individuals. They're all very excited to do it.
They're all in Colorado.
They're all in Colorado. They're all within 20 miles. They all basically intend to do the whole wall. They all intend to clear coat the whole thing under budget. They're all excited about the idea of us engaging the town and having kids come out and asking them questions and all that stuff and filming them and doing all that stuff. I have, I guess I'll just do it here since somehow. Can I share, please, JG?
I was in the midst of pulling it up and then I realized you probably have it.
Yeah, correct.
Oh,
So you guys asked them to do their designs?
Yeah, so we got.
so RFQ is a request for qualifications, so they send us samples of their previous work. That's what we looked at. Now we're in RFP, request for proposal. So now they do a design for our site specifically.
And we gave them $450 to do the design.
And that's why I'm confused. I thought the next step was just the committee selects out of the three, but
So
you're asking for an in-person interview next week with each one of them?
So they're doing it real fast. They're coming up with their designs, and on whatever we pick Wednesday of next week, they're gonna come in person and present the actual piece of art that they intend to put there. We'll talk to them and answer any questions or ask for questions or whatever. Yeah.
They don't, and then that's, it gets submitted to the committee. They don't come before like a city hall meeting.
No, they present to CAPS. And then CAPS makes a recommendation to the board.
Is that like a PDF for charters?
And we'll have our ranking. The board is not beholden to, but we'll have a recommendation, I assume, of what we.
So they're gonna do that at the next CAPS meeting?
No, it's like a private meeting next week on Wednesday.
Oh, so they're not presenting the CAPS?
They're presenting to the committee, right?
Right, to
The subcommittee, the subcommittee.
So this is AJ Davis, one of our choices. So here's a couple of his pieces. Some of those up top are interesting. I mean, he's a fantastic piece, but we were more smitten with some of these, down here with the animals, very interesting colors and textures. Obviously he can do big walls. This one very cool. So that's AJ Davis. Hillary Williams. None of us particularly loved that top one, but some of these. This one, I think, really struck a chord with most of us. That one in particular is
What was the artist's name again?
Hillary Williams. And she had a partner, and I did not catch her name, but this is actually a two-woman team.
Hillary and Susan?
She introduced herself, and I was, and to go on. So these are the pieces that she gave us as a demonstration. It was that. But
It was that one.
I mean, the one that honestly that really sold us, I think, was this guy here. That's so fun. And we told her that.
And then do you have?
And then Robin Francis, who goes by Grow Love and introduced herself as Grow Love. So I think we'll respect that name.
I'm still calling her Robin because I have to administratively.
Yeah. A lot of flowers. Robin Grow Love has, but beautiful stuff. And of course, they're gonna, when we met with them, we 2 out of the 3 have already come down and seen the tunnel and seen Grasso Park and the stuff on the east side. And they are asked about, the fire and whether we wanted this to be defined by the fire or not, which we said no. That fire was part of this, but that's not the defining feature of this mural. They know about impact to original town and the old and the new and all this stuff. So they're going to create what they create as artists, and we'll see how they interpret that tone.
And they had a deadline to submit their drawing, or?
Yeah, so we know that your timeline is very tight, and so we hinted, let us know if this is, and they're like, no, actually, it turns out we got I got a week gap here. Let's do this. AJ Davis was like, if this is gonna happen, it's gotta happen in October. They're all gung ho to do this, like,
No, but we'll have like their information by Wednesday,
yeah,
like, we got their like proposals.
yeah.
Yeah, so the RFQ had the dates for, you know, when the presentations would happen, when we were expecting the mural to go in. Yeah, so they all kind of knew, you know, not all artists read the full RFQ, but these three seemed perfectly okay with that deadline.
Did they email you directly, or do they still have to use Cafe to submit their?
No, we're off of Cafe now.
And
Yeah.
the email chain that has been bouncing back and forth, and they've already responded with their availability. That was in that chain that JG sent out. So they've already given us Tuesday, I think Wednesday and Thursday worked for most of them in particular, but so they've already told us they'll be ready by early to mid next week.
And when do you expect to start, you know?
That will depend on their availability based on who we pick, but they're all ready. AJ Davis was the one that felt like he was going international or something in early November or
Yeah.
something. So if we pick him, he's gonna do it like in October.
But the hitch is that it needs to go before the board. So the CAPS will have a ranked recommendation that will go to the board, and we're hoping, pretty sure that this will be on their October 14th agenda. So the earliest we could start is October 15th.
Mhm.
If everything goes well in the board meeting.
If they like one of them.
Yeah, so they'll either approve your recommendation or they'll look at the others and hopefully approve one of those. And if not, then back to the drawing board. Yep, that's how the process works.
Any other questions?
Real quick, the information you need about our events is what fits in these little boxes.
No, it's usually a store, they do put calendar items in there, but it's usually you get a quarter page, half page, or a full page. Depends on their layout.
Whole thing is in there, blurb about it.
Did he get the newest magazine or last quarter's?
Newest.
Yes, I haven't seen that.
Coming to your mailbox.
But furthermore, beyond the calendar, so JG has, if we go back in our email, she sent out like what I need for events. So that is explicit. We can forward that back to you. And it's not just for Hello Superior, it's also for comms pushes out their email hits and they put it on Facebook and that kind of stuff. So we got a very explicit list for you if you're looking for what you need to provide.
Yeah, just like to see an example of what's
Yeah.
been produced.
So, and I submit to comms and it's completely up to comms on how big or small the real estate is in there. Cause they have all these other things that they have to get into that space. And so, I'm not always happy with where things land in there, but kind of have to just let them do their job.
Do you think we could request like a dedicated page in those, where that corner? Like a dedicated week of the, or day of the month or something, if we're.
I think if we had it well packaged, that's a good spread because we had a lot of content. I think it depends on how much content they have. Some issues they have more, some they have a little less. So we got a little more real estate with that one, but the next issue we may not. So there's no guarantee, but we could certainly pitch the idea.
Are they limited on the number of pages per issue?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so upcoming events. The next digital event, which is showcasing the AI art competition entries, is tomorrow. I encourage you all to come. We've hired movers to put the screens from the storage into the what is it called in the sports table?
The stable, yeah, the stable eatery.
The garage or something. Didn't you say garage or some, or,
The park.
oh,
Park.
oh,
Enough.
So it's like upstairs where the golfing stuff is, so we're gonna set them up in there, put some of this art up, and have some food and, yeah, so.
I will buy a pitcher of beer at a minimum.
What's the time?
6
6 to 9.
Is that the ones we just voted on?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of fun, by the way.
Was
I
it?
really enjoyed doing that. That was fun.
Was it easy?
It was so easy. It was I did it on my phone. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just that easy. I started it on my laptop and tablet and switched my phone.
It was technically easy, but it wasn't easy, you know, like, did it meet, you know, evaluating, did it meet?
Oh, yeah,
all
that
the-
wasn't easy, but
does it elevate stature and these kinds of things? You're like, I don't know, did it elevate stature?
Doesn't it,
it's all subjective.
does that mean some of those submissions won't be in the exhibition?
No, we're gonna show all of the
You're
pieces.
still gonna show all the pieces
Yeah.
even after it was voted upon? Is
Yeah.
there-
There's only like 40 total or something.
There's 33 pieces.
But it's the purchase price, right?
Right.
There's three or
Three
four?
plus an honorable mention.
So we will purchase / award. We can't actually give away prizes, but we will purchase for a declared fee. The winners, you know, is a,
What's the process for actually getting them that purchase price?
So they'll need to, supply me with an invoice, but it needs to be worded specifically purchase price, and a W-9. So I think that'll be good, you know, like, if you kind of get that ball rolling, it'll be in my inbox when I get back and I can get it submitted right away.
yeah.
We probably need to get an agreement on with them too, so I can probably work to draft that. So like before I submit, I'll get if you can let them know that there will be an agreement, since will be part of the town collection. And we might have to back and forth that just a little bit and tweak the language because it's digital. And we'll need to like think about reproduction rights or not, or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah, so we can, I think, but we have a standardized agreement already with town that was, you know, drafted with attorneys. So
Can we,
it's not that we can't change some of the language to adjust to this. I can.
Okay, so that's happening tomorrow night. Chris and I will be running around and the movers will take the screens out on Saturday. So one of us will meet them to put them back in storage for that. So yeah, come on out. I don't think that's gotten a whole lot of publicity. I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but see you out there.
I'm gonna have a picture of your.
Yeah, I wanted to promote it on my social media, but there's no flyer.
It has gone out. I've seen an email. I will forward it to you because what the town has published is fair game for you to publish personally. So let me make sure to get that to you.
Cause I was looking at the Superior, like the town of Superior, that's the only sort of social media that the town uses, right? There's no app social media or.
We've got a hashtag, but we don't have our own.
Was it
account.
Town of Superior Art?
Superior Art.
Superior Art? Ah, okay. I've been using Town of Superior Art.
But-
since that time.
What went out, what the town communications department created, he's gonna forward you and you can just lift it and use it.
Yeah, I guess they haven't used it yet on their own social media.
No, and they don't always. Yeah, I
Promote
mean,
the
they,
events, okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've seen it on Facebook. Stuff on Facebook goes by and then doesn't come back, you know, but it may have gone on Facebook.
I looked at the wings and like they promoted the wings, but they didn't even put the Itch's Instagram on it. Cause like, that's how I didn't really know who the artist was.
Yeah, I don't think they always do, and they should.
We'll work on that in 2025. I mean, seriously, it's labeling and attribution and publicity and stuff
Image crediting.
is big on our
Mhm.
for next year. All right, and then upcoming, we've also got needle felting. Yay. We're excited, we're ready. And the stained glass workshop in early November.
Yep.
You have all materials, right?
Oh, yeah.
Got all that.
And your room's booked. That also is in the big room,
Can we move that to the Osprey?
if it's available.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, do you want me to look?
Yeah, because it would just be easier if I could get in there the night before and drop stuff off. Yeah. Or whenever it'd be a lot easier instead of,
And do we, so the Osprey Room being ours, but as of yet, is there any, like, we don't have like a locking cabinet or anything in there, right?
There are locking cabinets, but there's only a couple like under the sink and
Right.
like off to the side. It's not been equipped with, you know, the more that we were talking about,
But I could leave that grinder in there, right?
if it will fit in the cabinet.
Oh, yeah, it's small, it's a small one, yeah, I'd be awesome. Small yet heavy. What's the name of the big room that I'm gonna be in?
Long's Peak.
License speaker. License speaker. Thank you.
Okay, there's no go backs. We'll move on to work plan check-in. A is the mural subcommittee. We've spoke about that pretty heavily. Any mural subcommittee, any extras, anything else?
I think it's looking like you can do Wednesday, 10 to 2-ish here. You can do the,
Is that what KG is for that?
She's out,
So then,
but we can't wait.
no, I understand. So who runs the slideshow for the artist, or are they just gonna promote, like,
The artists do, so it'll just be linked into the monitor like this, so
so they'll link their own laptops to this,
if they don't have one, it would be good if one of you brought one just in case.
and then how do we get their information to the town committee after that?
The board,
I will work with Leslie Clark once we've
Okay.
decided and push that forward. We talked about all the artists in the meetings, the one-on-ones we had, you know, we made sure they knew in person here, although we can do Zoom if they need to or want to. We even talked to them about IT and, you know, AJ Davis was like, definitely, I'll do email and I'll bring my machine. I like to have both my bases covered, so we're all over most of those.
and they know that they need to share their presentation with us so that we can forward it to the board.
So they're submitting like their final presentation.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, they're trying to sell it to us, yeah. And I just stress again, they're all fantastic. It's gonna be fun and it's gonna be hard. That's my prediction. And they all wanted to do the whole wall.
I think that's fantastic.
And just FYI, it's 120 feet,
That's a lot of space.
and they didn't bat an eye, did they?
No, there was no, you know, that was in the RFQ, so they were like, yeah, we're do the wall. You know, that's what we asked them for.
Yeah.
And then the lighting, I guess we could possibly show your photo with the lighting, but the lighting is going in, so it's going to be much, much brighter, and which is great of its own
Mhm.
mural aside. It's going to be much.
Lighting alone is exciting.
I know.
Was the tagging done before the lighting or after the lighting?
I think after, because when I was there on Monday, he was working on that exact section. So I'm sure they were like, ooh, I'm gonna take advantage of this spotlight. So I hope, but like Andrew said, the artists all said that they will do graffiti guard. And I think, you know, it can be power washed. So, you know, I think we're in pretty good shape.
There is, you know, whatever, half or a third of the lighting this end here. From night to day.
Amazing. You know, make some little pretend alligators. Then I would around. Watch out.
Don't make ceramic one.
I know, and we need to get this to the artists, because there, you know, it's interesting, and there's overlap, and there's, you know, so, and there's dark spots, and they could play with it.
Yeah.
If the theater,
Uh-huh.
It's amazing because it's so dark in there.
Yeah, you know, I scrolled back through Instagram and Twitter, and the town has not publicized anything about the event tomorrow.
Okay. I've seen it on the email, so
It's tomorrow?
Yeah,
the AI thing is,
I thought it was the 27th.
Tomorrow is the
Oh,
27th.
I'm looking at the wrong one. So sorry. I'm trying to update my calendar. Okay.
yeah, we have 30 artists and each person.
Are you taking notes or is Liza taking notes?
Mom,
11 marks.
she's gonna be on the 6th. She's good at
Okay.
Well, this
it.
is
Like that. You're gonna do
We
it,
have 11
right?
artists submitting,
It's
like
sorry.
promoting zero.
Secretary.
I'll have to, I'm searching for it, but I can't remember what they called it. And I can't remember. They didn't call it the competition. They
So
called
we
it-
have something to
Oh.
link to and I'll blast it on mine. I thought I did.
I'll send that out. I've got a note here to send it to Brandon and I'll do it to you.
Thank you.
I'll send it to all caps.
Yeah.
Is that something that they need to stay on top of, or do we need to stay on top of them in terms of getting it posted?
I've been told many times that they have a list of everything that they put it in, and so I'm not sure. I mean, I can't speak for comms in that regard on how their choices are made, but we can certainly follow up.
I blast my own. You know, for that's my workshops. I just do, I imagine they do it too, but I've just blasted all over social media on my own.
Yeah.
I just take the write-ups that JG sends them and just put it on there.
It would not surprise me, frankly, if they were a little scared of this one, because some of the feedback has been a little
Yeah.
contentious. Yeah.
So then, are they editorializing?
It couldn't see.
I can't imagine they are. They've supported everything since.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go, speaking of digital events, surprise, Chris. So 5B is digital event number 4. I mean, this is just start talking because that's one of our events coming up at the end of the year. I think, did we call it December? Do you remember what our time was?
It was December.
I think it was, I don't think it had a date to it, did it?
Yeah. So we need to start thinking about date, place, content, and getting that information to JG and comms.
Yeah.
You have any leads, any thoughts on it might?
I've been working on a art of Minecraft for the
Hmm.
kids.
That would be wonderful. Maybe not in a bar.
No, probably here.
And you have to wear a Minecraft costume.
I got a couple of those in the house. Yeah.
Not one day necessarily, but.
I would thought of really in the Roblox, I don't know, that's way
Mine is
different.
too.
Right?
It's similar, but it's a platform.
We got 5 screens, maybe Roblox. Maybe we can put them in a corner or something, you know, the extra art.
Yeah, it's a little close to home right now for us. We're having Roblox issues.
The kids, they like chat in it and do all kinds of stuff, right? I mean, it's like a social network.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Okay. 5C is,
We were this far down the agenda,
Right.
right? 6:40. It's never happened.
don't you jinx it.
Okay.
We still have to talk about workshops for next quarter, next year.
Okay, so 5C is music events. This agenda was finalized before we heard from Suze. And she's kind of been our music event leader, so sort of in my mind, I think we are backing off of the music events for 2024 unless someone has a great idea or cares to lead it. And I don't know, maybe there's a opportunity with the Boulder Philharmonic.
I'm looking forward.
Like it's already like someone on payroll.
We couldn't do the festival. Couldn't do the festival because we were going to do the music
Because
event.
when I sat outside watching the slideshow, there's there must be someone already on payroll making music.
Obviously.
Well, I mean, they've gone back to having the music on Saturday nights here.
Yeah.
And now we're booked for summer.
Yeah.
So.
So, the discussion, how do y'all feel? We have in the 2024 budget, $3,500 we put in for music events. We thought we were going to do, a ukulele like concert and some other things. So there is money. Phil.
Try to get them in for a holiday show.
Yeah.
I know the community center is pretty heavily booked in December, with a lot of events. And resident, just a lot of stuff. So just keep that in mind. We would have to book immediately.
I can start that, but I would love to have some help. I'm doing a lot. I would love to have some help with some research on that, some discussions. But I'll kick it off.
For which one?
Doing music events in the next 2 or 3 months, and we're gonna get the Boulder Phil and a venue and other size of stuff. It'd be fantastic. It doesn't even have to be huge, right? I mean, Sue's, the thing she was planning was these little Longs Peak, come as you are kind of things, you know, it doesn't have to be town-wide concert.
Well, it'd be good to maybe use that money for some of this mural social media stuff that's obviously not happening. So like if we wanted to film like the production of the mural with like a drone or use some of that instead of, you know, transferring that, just because like, I don't know, I feel like it's a lot of effort for the artist to be making this mural, and it's a good opportunity to get some good, I don't know, to pay for a photographer. I don't know. We talked about like, is there
Yeah, so,
that photographer?
and good idea, and we're underrunning in many categories. I think we need to reapproach the board to reallocate, which is something we can do, but the work plan and the budget are kind of approved. So that.
So if you don't do music, it's just like that money can't be moved over.
I think there's some flexibility. The board has given us about a 10K leeway on purchases and stuff, but personally, I would probably at least email them, ensure that they approved of that.
As chair, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would do that. I think it would be prudent to ask the board about that and change of direction.
Or not. I mean,
I don't disagree, but I'm just saying that I don't think we can just decide.
is when the artists are they allowed to promote their process once they're picked and they're painting to like promote on their own social media however they want, or does that still need to be approved by the city?
It's not,
Oh, they can. And they usually do. They'll be like, you know, here's what, you know, no different than an artist saying, I have an exhibit at X gallery, you know, they're like, I'm gonna be on site, you know, yeah.
Brandon, I mean, I think it's brilliant. If we just to the board like tonight and say, hey, we can't do this. We propose hiring the comms department to film all these sculptures going in, the mural going in, make us a time lapse, get us some drone footage, you know.
Yeah, time lapse, I like that.
but are we hiring the comms department to do it?
Not the comms, yeah. I do have that, time-lapse camera, but I think the only issue is how and where to install it, because, you know, I don't know if it would be an issue for us to be capturing every passerby. For, you know, if it's just on the wall, we probably will be fine.
I was thinking about just doing it anyway with one of my personal cameras, but getting a pro to do it would be
I have the camera in my office.
set up on the other side of the stream and let it run.
Might be fun to catch the passer by.
I don't know if we can.
Oh.
I would just have to ask.
People could watch it happen.
Kids come up and they're talking to the artist.
I'll make a note to see about where we can put it, cause it's got a little SD card and, I mean, it'd be ready to go, just turn it on. And it's got an app where everybody could download the app and watch it.
When you
Is that the same one we used?
Yes.
when you did the installation of the wings, the Mitch Levin, was there any sort of photography or ribbon cutting or anything that?
So- The comms department, I let them know we were doing it and they came out and they sent somebody to photograph it. So I don't know if she's uploaded those and made them accessible to me yet, but she did spend the time with me. So I think with, you know, anytime staff, from any department, you know, we just have to give leeway so that they can get things scheduled if it's something that they're able to do.
Is
Yeah.
something like that we would want to have a ribbon cutting with like the mayor and media and all that, or is it like you wait for like something even bigger for an order call?
That's a good question I hadn't considered before.
Yeah, when I worked at the city of North Miami, we had a lot of that, like our Nice Foundation funding and stuff, and it was just like, I think it really helped the artists feel proud about what they've
Yeah,
done.
murals, significant project, I think that'd be good. Do you guys have connections into people that can do this kind of media work?
I mean, I send out press releases from my gallery every month. I do a show, like. Hey,
We can't, I mean, comms would have to send press release, but we can certainly help write it.
And the people that did my photo walk, they make commercials and stuff too. So I have a connection there. I can talk to those guys.
Well, I guess I'm just interested in this because when we do our artist talk next year, it's just wondering how much, who's promoting and how, you know, or the talks like. That's why I'm asking.
Comms vets the copy. That's we're stuck with that because, you know, the town of Superior through CAPS is hosting a seminar or something, and we don't get to say the town of Superior does this. The town of Superior gets to say the town of Superior does this, right? So we have to route it through them. Once they approve the copy, though, then we can blast it to our heart's content.
Like a press release.
Yeah, and we can provide media, you know, we could say, we've got a time lapse here, you know, put it up on TikTok or whatever, and then once they do, we could share that again.
Can we get them to put something out tomorrow on social about the event tomorrow night?
I can,
sent an email to the comms director, and I copied just about everybody in the universe.
Yeah, because I couldn't find out.
Well, from the staff perspective, I sent it to the town manager, I did copy JG and Andrew, and I said, hey, we've got this thing happening tomorrow night, and I haven't seen any publicity, can we get something out tomorrow? Sometimes when the trustees said stuff, we get action. No, but I did sense, that's literally what I was sort of saying. You know, I haven't seen anything, what's up here?
Yeah, thank you.
I said it nicely, but.
And Chris, we skipped over this, but JG's given me fees and codes and ways.
tax exempt
Tax
stuff.
exempt stuff to purchase the tax and stuff. Can
So-
we buy alcohol?
No,
Okay, can't buy alcohol. No.
your beer's on you. Huh? What?
I hear anything.
No.
What? You've done. I'm here to.
So is alcohol.
So it's alcohol.
Wait,
Hey, it's not with taxpayer money.
can it get?
Oh, Stephanie. That's why we love you, Stephanie.
Well, I'll be.
Wait, is Gummy Palooza on the 2025?
I'm ready for Gummy Palooza.
All right. I think that's probably it for the work plan. Put a fork in that one. Discussion items. So we do have a application to review. I don't have that on my computer. I probably should have had that.
Oh.
Is it a race to see if we can get to it?
Hey, the Jeopardy boots on. It's there somewhere.
We send too many emails, JJ.
I
This is
know.
this HUs, is that it?
I sent it to Caps.
9-5. So I've got here.
Oh, did you win?
Sure.
Oh, I'm so close.
Hughes, right? Oh, that's the right one. You're okay, good. Save me the shit.
Oh, let me share this on this big screen.
Yes, this did go out to Caps, so it
Now, where is it? Okay, where's your face?
yeah, scroll.
Had it open. Was it? Well, I guess they get to see my inbox. Yeah.
Teeny tiny print. I'm pretty good at reading out loud though. So this is the neighborhood block party sponsorship. Tell us about your idea. We're relatively new to the area as of January, and there's a few other new families on our block. We would love to do a big ice cream social for the 25 or so houses that make up our block. Come together, get to know each other. This is on Alma Lane. They just want to meet and integrate their neighbors in different stages of life with kids and talk about how they can support each other. And then the money would go to ice cream, cones, toppings, disposable cups and spoons, non-alcoholic beverages, ice balloons, poster boards, flyers. And, you know, I asked, I think I replied to Caps and said, you know, because we asked that they include a 25% match. Down here, they say we have folding tables, coolers, picnic blankets, camping chairs and stuff.
That seems like a 25.
I don't know, that's gonna be up to us as to whether they met that requirement. We did not follow up with these guys and say, hey, you need to be more specific on this. For various reasons.
So did we vote on this?
Yes, we do need to vote on whether we approve this. Their ask is $250. We have plenty of budget for that.
They don't have a date.
It's true, they're out of date.
A new, like, candy store, ice cream store opened up in the mall across the. I don't know, that's maybe a good partnership, of like a local business mixed with like community outreach.
Do we require them, any participants in the rec program to like document the event
Yep.
and send us photos?
They have to send us a survey and 3 photos and
Receipts.
receipts and stuff, yeah. So we get media out of these.
We're gonna publish that media?
I think we should, yeah. I think, and especially in copy for next year's program, is things that were successful last time, but also like in the volunteer, the success of CAPS kind of stuff. If you're thinking like Instagram and stuff like that. Good. What are people's thoughts on this particular application and whether it meets guidelines and is something we should approve? I am sort of on the fence myself. I'm
I
not
think
sure.
we should approve it.
I like the spirit of it. Well, I'm not sure it's 100% properly formed, but we have our discretion.
I think it's fine. I think we should approve it.
Then let's just vote. Can we have a roll call, please? She'll around the table that later.
I'm going down my list. If you ask for a roll call, you're on the top. I'll go backwards.
That's right. So this neighborhood grant, I mean, that's entirely the point, is that we've set aside budget and they propose to us. The block party is one, and that's been the most successful one, but there's a community improvement fund and a event or something. So like, we were envisioning they would do all the legwork and say, we want a mural on the curb over here. We found the artist. It'll just be $200 and yeah, awesome. And we just pay for it and they've done all the legwork, right? So that's what we're trying to grow here.
Awesome, so they applied for this.
They applied. Cool. Yeah, so your partnership's a good idea, but that's not what they proposed. I mean, going forward, somebody could do that. And we asked in the program that they have some buy-in, so they're supposed to say, we're gonna provide, 25% of the cost in hot dogs, or we hired the clown and then, that's worth X amount or whatever. But time counts. There's a rate. We actually specify in the application what volunteer hours cost if people are picking up trash afterwards, setting up holding tables or whatever. That is all part of it.
So this is only CAPS, this is what CAPS rated.
It took us, so it was a 2024 project. It took us a quarter of the year or something to get it going. So we started it, I can't remember. We kicked it off in the middle of the summer.
We're learning as we go.
What was the first one?
It's been, so we've done a block party and it was a fire, right? Wasn't it
Yeah, it was kind of a block party around fire,
yeah.
preparedness and
Sagamore.
education in Sagamore.
Do we get photos of that?
They sent me a few, but they wanted to keep their
They actually
private
requested to not.
party. Yeah, they
Requested it.
they sent they sent a handful, but they didn't want to share. They kind of considered it partially private, they didn't.
They asked us not to publish their photos because out of respect of the fire victims.
It was,
Which I'm not sure we have to respect, but we definitely
We should.
We should.
Definitely.
they did their due diligence and sent us some photos, but they're mhm.
That's the one that kicked off, and like we were talking about at the beginning of the meeting, we've had, I think, 2 others that we explicitly responded to and said it said nothing. It said we want to hold a block party, $250.
Yeah.
And we responded and said, all right, for me, yes, please.
Yeah.
And haven't heard back. So there's 2 in the wind, but we're not 100% sure that follow-up has happened. So we're gonna follow back up on this.
Is this grant like part of a subcommittee?
Not yet, right? We don't.
Well, no, it was.
We-
It was supposed
it
to
was
be Suze and me, but I don't know what.
Well, the two of you were vetting, so I was the one that kind of created it and I used
Yeah.
Arvada has this, I mean, I basically cloned their program with their permission. I talked to Brady over at Arvada. He was extraordinarily helpful and somebody caught a typo, but we had left the town of Arvada as one of the things.
Yeah.
Whoops. So this is, it's a good idea that's taken off down there. And so we're just getting our legwork. So I basically formulated it and then Suze and Steph were going to vet the responses and quickly respond. Because when people, if they turn it in, you can respond the next day and say, you just need to fill out this application better, right? Before it makes it to this committee.
Don't forget to send me those emails too, so I can do that tomorrow.
So are we looking at the only proposal that we received?
The only one
Like
that's
recently.
can be.
In the past month.
So
Okay, cool.
this is technically the 4th.
We never heard back from the other two in July.
That's what he's talking about.
Oh, no, remember, we got 3 in July
Right, one was approved,
Rejected two
and
on
rejected
formatting.
2.
and that's what he's talking about, like there's,
Oh,
we're not really sure
oh,
what the
those were
follow-up.
that- Okay, I see,
But
okay.
I'm pretty sure Sue sent emails and CC'd me.
Yeah.
I'll go and dig. I think that
So then
happened.
this is only the 4th one we've received then?
Correct.
Okay,
So when I get them, I send them to all of
Okay.
CAPS.
I thought there was more this month for some reason, sorry.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
And we should maybe have comms remind, like this probably needs a
Monthly.
monthly reminder.
Posted on there, I saw your post about the neighborhood.
It was when Parks talked about their trailer.
Ah, okay,
Parks now has a block
Block
party
party
trailer.
trailer.
And I was like, imagine it had been,
yeah,
because theirs is free, I think, right? You just reserve it and they drop it
that's what
off.
I thought, yeah.
And they've got hula hoops, chairs, coolers, tables, it's just so you can just like park it in the middle of the cul-de-sac and pop out. Okay, so let's vote on this.
Do I need to record who votes and how they vote, or just
No, it'll be, yeah,
the people who say yes? And
yeah.
Do I need to make a motion to approve before we vote or just vote?
I guess we probably should,
Motion to approve the current neighborhood sponsorship application from
Audrey.
Audrey Hughes
For,
for $250. Anyone second? That's what you record.
so who, yeah, the motion and who seconded and unanimously approved.
So now we vote.
Yeah, see, we can do an all in favor. I can do a roll call vote. You want roll call?
We can just show our hands.
Okay.
All in favor?
Easy.
Okay.
Unanimously approved.
Now do you email her or what happens then?
Normally I would,
Okay.
but I'm gonna send what I would normally send out.
Okay,
I can even send you the draft, like the email that I sent, that one
Okay.
other one, just so
Yeah.
you see the language.
okay,
And just say who you are
yeah.
and
Okay.
send, you'll just see what I said to send the
Do I
Form.
carbon copy you guys or CC you?
Open CC is fine.
Open
open
CC.
CCs, yeah.
Probably Leslie as well, right, for actually doing the money.
No,
No.
no, I think it's okay, cause by the time they get it back, cause the first question is when,
Right, yeah.
yeah, so I think, just, it was approved, but we need to know what your
Right.
date is and fill this out, and hopefully by that time I'm back. So I can go get the gift card and get all that taken care of.
Are still sending your email, JP.
Basically, every events producer I know in town knows nothing about this group yet.
Yeah, events, somebody wants to hire a guitarist to play for their neighborhood, or I keep coming back to the mural, the permission structure for painting a mural, especially on private property, and hiring a mural.
Used to have friends in high places.
Oh, yeah.
Is it already
It
clicked?
just went out.
All right.
Oh, right, nice.
Thank you.
Well done. That
don't
is
know if it went out
awesome.
by email, but it did come out over text.
Where
So
did they post it?
it probably wasn't me. He's probably in the queue to put it out tonight. Huh?
The night, or a reminder.
We gotta appreciate it when it happens.
I think part of their plan is they do day before, but it depends on whether it's Sentinel, Pros Newsletter, Hello. You know, there's all the publications that things are in, and it has been in those, and then they'll do a standalone, and I don't know, you know, I think it depends on when the date falls. You know, so they do put things everywhere, but it sounds like the social media part might be the lacking.
Yeah, and then if you subscribe to the emails, everybody should be on, what is this one? This one's just, comms and info, so you can go to the website and they've got a wall.
That's what the link just went to that.
Yeah, but this is an email that I just got, so
Yeah.
they've got, just, and Chris, you provided.
There.
Nice.
Cool. And then that was what just came out?
Yeah,
Yes.
literally minutes ago, yeah.
Okay.
So like, I know they're doing one last push for plein air tomorrow. You know, just, I know they do a lot of day befores, just, so it sort of also serves as a reminder.
Got it.
I'll forward this to Caps, like maybe right now, so that you guys can take screenshots or copy paste or whatever and put it on your socials or whatever it is you.
Do we have the, Eventbrite data on that?
I only saw like 4 or 5 on there.
It's interesting that he even has a register. That's just for accounting?
Kind of an RSVP, I think. I don't think you can change the word on
I don't know what artist that was, was there like a,
That was an AI piece that I did.
that was created after.
Chris Nunez. It is arguably highly competitive with what we received in the competition.
Yeah, it was good. There were a lot of really good pictures in there.
what are the names of the,
They all end up being different, right? We didn't end up picking like 2 from the Jenny.
No, there are 3 different artists. Sista Luna came in 3rd with her stitched piece,
Mhm.
which I thought was really cool. So she actually stitched the pictures together
oh wow.
with thread.
That's neat.
That was cool.
Abandoned Fictions was number 1. That was the sort of the fake factory on the hillside.
Yeah.
And then number 2.
Who's that from?
It's from, I think his name is Tomas. Actually, can you pull up the website? There's a gallery on the website.
Yeah, it'd be great to see.
You want, oh.
We saw the little, the thing you sent out.
The art call.
I just was
at the
gonna,
gallery now.
Uh,
Art call?
yeah, COAI.artcall.org. And then if you go to the top,
Web gallery?
yeah, web gallery. Is that first one, if you could share that?
Yeah.
These will be displayed on the monitors.
Yeah.
are they, and they're doing the projection too, right?
Just
As a,
over there.
oh, okay.
So that first one, for left, Forest Soiree, that's number 2, that's 2nd place.
That was my favorite.
It's super cool. It would
It
be,
is.
so the theme was technology and emotion,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mhm.
So I struggled a little bit with meeting the theme exactly, but
Yeah.
they did the cool piece.
It is.
So if you scroll down.
So that one, I'm sorry,
That's
is
2nd place.
second place?
That one also is kind of eerie. My daughter was like, how many joints are in her elbow? Like typical AI.
Yeah, right?
Right there is the honorable mention. It's a video piece. Did you guys actually see the video?
I had a tough time. I could only see it on my laptop, could not get it to work on my iPad or my phone.
I did not know that was video.
Yeah.
So if you click that link, submission URL. Yeah, that. And click that link again. Their linking system is not strong.
Mm.
Yeah, that was difficult because I'm like, what am I looking at here?
See how this does.
Until I got to the video.
So Chris May submitted 2 video pieces. This is one of them.
Oh, that is cool.
It is cool. It is.
That made me motion sick.
Mm.
I did get motion sick on it, yeah.
Piece that he submitted, it was more of a story. a narrative about Tiger and McCoy. And the entire script of that movie was generated by AI, and the voiceover was done by AI.
Really? Oh,
Okay, so if you go back to the gallery. Scroll down. I think it's probably on the next page.
Oh, he's
Sounds like
scrolling.
Abandoned Fictions.
I love the
is
security
first.
production.
Which one? Oh,
This one,
Yeah.
even first. So that's a fake factory that's been fakely abandoned.
It's creepy, right?
Yeah,
It is creepy.
it is, yeah.
it looks real.
It does, doesn't it?
But technology and emotion, right? I mean, I gave it a lot of credit for actually kind of meeting the theme.
Yeah.
Emotion being dread.
Yeah, the emotion is, yeah.
And
Dystopia.
then the first one, Stitching with the Stakes, that's third place. So those are independently generated AI pieces based on a painting that she did. So she started with real art, created an AI series of her art, ripped them apart, and then stitched them together with embroidery thread.
That's pretty smart.
It's a really
When
nice
the
piece.
town buying, purchasing this work, is it an addition or is it like a one?
So one-on-one,
Maybe they just like give us a thumb drive or something with the file on it
yeah. And the rights to use it.
and the rights to use it.
So I really liked her process.
Yeah,
I really liked the prairie dog.
I mean, that was
My favorite.
supposed to be the real gist of the competition was how does AI supplement your process?
Mhm.
Not just what does the final piece look like? So, you know, with a couple of them, I was a little disappointed in how thin their process was. It was,
I was confused by the video, honestly. I was like, okay, well, are all of them gonna be videos?
Cause you knew the gummy video.
You really did? And I was in the right place, sort of thing. So I spent my time with them. But it was like, okay, well, it's not fair to the others that didn't know they could do videos. I mean, I've been in art competitions like that where someone went above and beyond compared to what they just asked for, so I don't know. But it was cool too.
If they show up, it'd be nice to meet them.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Very cool.
Can you read it?
yeah. Yeah, so somehow we went back in time to
Oh, yeah.
AI. All right.
Like we were talking about the announcement.
Yep. Yeah, very good. Thanks, Sandy, for that.
Coyote Hawk.
Total side note, do you need special tools to turn the orientation of the okay.
I think I'll bring a screwdriver. I think it's possible. There's screws, but they were only hand tight when I started this one.
Okay.
Machine numbers.
And I think we need to steal the remote from this one, right? We don't have time to get a.
Well, no, so the remotes should work across at least a couple of the TVs.
Okay,
So if we've got 4 remotes, chances are good one of them.
I think we had it. Well, are we bringing this TV? Are we
I
bringing
don't
this?
know, but there's 1 here and 4 in storage.
Yeah, so if we take the 4, I mean, that would be easiest if we just use the 4 from storage. I think there's 3 remotes.
Yeah, I did not add this as a stop,
That's
so.
4 will be fine.
Yeah, I think so. And so I think we'll have 4 TVs and 3 remotes unless we take this one from here.
But then they can't turn
Then
this
they can't
on.
turn this one off.
Yeah,
It's fine.
You think 3 is fine? We'll make it work.
3 or 4?
3 remotes, 4 TVs.
Oh, yeah, that should be.
We could probably repair it between if for whatever reason we can't make them cross talk.
On Facebook now.
Good.
Why are you scrolling Facebook?
I always scroll Facebook. I wanted to see if it was up.
Okay,
Got it on Facebook?
let's dig into the artwork installation.
okay, do you wanna talk? Do you want me to?
Yeah, introduce it for a second.
What?
Well, yeah, I mean, so we know about the 2 pieces, the 2 large, lease pieces, Coyote Hawk and Silencio. We leased them each for about $2,500 for 2024. They need to be installed. We have an art installation budget and I'll
RSVP.
be honest,
Say
the
RSVP.
install fee, they're coming in higher than I maybe anticipated, especially for temporary pieces, but you know, they can't be installed like temporary, you know, they have to be installed safely, so. JG can speak to, she's been in back and forth with the artists about their requirements and their, their process. So she can give us the quotes. And one thing that I'll just mention is that the pieces, we're leasing them right now. I strongly suspect that we'll lease them again next year because we're only going to get them in the ground with, 2 months left to go in 2024. Both pieces are leased to own. So, we've maybe wasted some time, but we haven't wasted any money if we decide that we want to purchase these pieces. And if we decide not to continue with them, these sites will remain. So we will be preparing these sites and we'll have both sites if we decide we want to try another temporary piece at a later date.
I don't remember what the purchase prices of those are, do you?
I think Coyote Hawk was 28.5.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
How much
It was in
did
your
it-
PowerPoint.
well, it's a yearly, so we paid $500 for the year.
So we almost paid it off then.
No.
Oh, sorry,
No.
500,
Tenth of it, yeah.
So,
Can we lease it like?
and just to
Yes, we could.
kind of split everything up or to explain it, when you did your loan agreement or when the town did the loan agreement, it was for the loan of the piece and delivery. Okay, it did not specify install costs because install costs vary greatly. It's a variable. There's no way that you could put a number to that in an agreement. So that's why it's separate. So, so you're gonna see costs in very different places. So with Joe came out, looked at the site. I think he, being a very experienced sculptor, he assessed where it is, if, where that median is, it's only one lane on each side. So, has a huge part in this. And, so he kind of went back to the drawing board and gave me an estimate and some mock-ups, what it looks like. I think one of the things he was excited about is when you drive by, you'll just see that as opposed to coming up the hill or down the hill.
What was his name for Coyote Hawk?
I'm sorry,
Joe Norman.
Joe Norman.
Can you scroll up again?
He at the Rocky Mountain National Artist
So
Residence.
it's on Indiana near El Dorado and Wildflower. There's 2 medians there.
Gotcha, yeah.
So there's a median right in front of the school and then there's one just to the north, like down the hill, that's kind of in between Eldo and Wildflower Park. And so that's where it is. We decided that, not the artists, but we town staff decided that the median right in front of the school would be tough because of the in and out traffic and it could be a distraction. There's crosswalks there and it's just better that it's a little further down.
So what was his quote?
We're getting there. So, yeah. So it's high, I'm not gonna lie.
This is his install budget?
Mhm.
This install quote,
Where we sell.
So that's on top of what we're paying for the piece,
well,
We're not paying for the piece.
the leasing of the piece?
yeah,
So, I actually negotiated this down $3,000. Because there were some things in there that I didn't think needed to be there. And I'm also still in conversation with him a little bit about, can I close out that? Yeah. I'm in conversation with him about the need for the concrete footing. That's a $3,900 expense. And basically the prep work that our superintendent and our parks crew does is almost like concrete. What they do is they put recycled road base in, they add water, and then they compact the heck out of it. And it's so hard, it's almost like concrete. And so Joe, you all had preferred that he have stone cut. So basically what he's proposing is a concrete pad that would not show, but then have his stone work on top of the concrete pad. And I think, we had kind of said, well, what the ground prep we did is nearly like concrete, we could just come in with the stone. And he's a little leery of that, but I don't think the conversation is completely over.
So where did the extra 1,100 come in for the stone base? Because back in 2023, you said it'd be between 300 to 1,000 for the stone base.
Right.
He's,
That's kind of where my head was too, like,
Yeah.
I felt like the $1,200 for the stone was big, it felt like dropping the stone.
so I can answer that. Given the site and the fact that there's junipers in there, I mean, again, this is nothing's been finalized. I think he added an extra stone to elevate it, so it's not,
Was Terry's push this out?
they already tore out.
They tore out one little 6x6 spot, but junipers are fire hazard anyway.
Get rid of it.
Okay.
Can't we just put it in ourselves? I mean, can't the town just put it in?
So because it's a singular lane
Yeah.
and it's as heavy as it is, it has to be craned in.
Oh, we didn't think about that.
We'd have to rent, staff could perhaps do it, but we'd still have to hire a crane. But
Well, that would just be,
$3,500 is a week's worth of time for a structural engineer, and
A crane or a telescopic forklift?
yeah, the telehandler, I don't know, it's pretty heavy, I'm not sure what. So this is the conversation now.
Right, and I think too, what's important is, where I do the negotiations and where CAPS comes in and has that with him too. I think this might be a good juncture for someone from CAPS to kind of join in on the email conversation or a Zoom conversation to continue the conversation.
yo. I'm right? No,
No.
okay.
I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
you're trying to have uncomfortable conversations.
And I've worked with two different art companies, Volvo and JGP Arts, they both install huge sculptures. I don't know if they're paid to get like another quote.
They're So, well, when I started negotiating, I'd have to pull up the email. I can't remember what install group he contacted, but they reviewed it and they said that theirs would be higher.
Yeah, we don't have, we don't have Volvo or JGP Arts, but, yeah, it's expensive to install art.
It's very
one thing to
expensive.
install something that's just like on loan.
Well,
That's why I commented
For 8 months.
That's why I commented that the space would forever be a space for art, even if we choose not to keep this here, right? It will be a substantially engineered, it's an investment. It could be considered that way.
And then also on the flip side of that, I think it's important for everybody to understand that with large sculptural pieces, they can't just be temporarily placed. You have to go through all of the same processes and protocols as if it were a permanent piece, and it's for insurance and liability purposes. So we do need the engineering review, and if this is his engineer, it's like, if we hire a different engineer, we might be looking at the same price, maybe lower, I'm not sure. Michael Clapper, we have an engineering fees with that as well. Where it is tough. Like I said, I'm not the expert to come in and absolutely say with certainty that it doesn't need that concrete footing, but I kind of feel like it doesn't based on our superintendent and one of our inspectors. So that is definitely a negotiating point. I still feel is valid to continue that conversation with
So I
him.
have a few questions. When did we start the lease on this?
When?
Yeah, started,
January of this year.
January of this year. So we've been sitting on this for this long. How long would it take if we said to go ahead and do that? How long does it take to get it installed?
If you approve it today,
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I think before we go there, I think the conversation needs to be, is there continued? Let's just say if you do approve it,
Is this his company? I'm sorry for interrupting, but
No,
is he licensed and insured, or is he hiring like a crane operator from another company?
he would hire it.
So he's just sort of managing the project?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
so
But this,
we're just gonna do this now
and possibly take a month to get it installed? I mean.
So it took a really long time. Caps says, but if you recall, I just want to remind everybody that it took a lot of months for Caps to decide where to put it. And, you know, we proposed sites and they wouldn't work, or, you know what I mean? There were a lot of rounds of where it would go. So I don't think that, you know, we have to remember that part, but also realize that all public art, whether it's loaned or permanent, takes months, if not years. So I know, I understand that it's frustrating, but
Are we informed that he's paying a company? Yeah.
so with public art, whether it's a commission for ownership or it's a loan, this is kind of usually a standard process where the artist has a crew that they either have on staff or that they hire per job. So with a commission, it's usually a lump sum, and out of that sum, they're responsible for all of the engineering, everything, you know, the fabrication, everything. I think when you're in a loan situation, this is how it ends up, is they come to us and say, this is what it would cost to install.
Oh, yeah, so we don't know who the crane operator is. Like it's not a company. We're just paying him and we're hoping that.
So- If we decide to ask him to break this apart, then we take more time to find a crane operator, get it scheduled, get it delivered. And it may or may not be this, it could be higher, it could be lower, I don't know. So we would have to go to bid. I would have to call 3 crane companies, get them, you know, get the bids, which could take a couple weeks, and then. It depends, though. I mean, I would have to find out if it's under that. I don't know. Maybe this is somebody he's worked with and gives them a good deal. I don't, like, it's all gray.
Nothing. We can afford it. The line item for 2024 rent, buy / install artwork is 32K. I mean, we
haven't used any of that.
haven't used any of that. It's just-
Could we just,
Well, so we took 10 out of that and put it into the mural, so.
what if we just buy it and ask them if you'll include the install and all of that if we pay for it?
So-
That is an angle that we've taken.
We proposed that and he said, yeah, if this was a full, you know, build install, it would have been like 50,
Really?
which is kind of what Rogers Farm was.
Why didn't you
right?
tell us that? Why didn't?
Because we didn't ask for a
We
purchase
didn't
price,
ask
we
for
asked
it.
for a loan price.
And he did say he would.
Well, a loan to purchase.
Gotcha.
He did say he would drop it off and wash his hands of it essentially, right? Like that is an option that he would bring it down here and we could install it ourselves and it wouldn't be his liability or anything at that point, right? But then we got to do all these things.
Right.
I'm wondering about you know, like if he's got $3,500 of engineering on there, that engineer can look and see. if
Right.
The
I feel a
gravel
little,
is enough.
if I'm open to speak on that, I mean, that's probably my biggest sticking point is, yeah, I think we need somebody out here to look at that, but that's really up to you all.
Then it's like a 10K install. And it is an investment in the site if we decide we're not gonna continue to use it.
And then with your permission, if you want me to continue the conversation of negotiating that purchase price, if that's a direction you want to go, if you think there's a possibility for purchase.
Oh, I love the piece.
I think we're
I
gonna,
want to get it in.
we haven't even seen it.
Well, that's true
But
too.
I
The
think,
pictures look
I
great.
think we're gonna love it. I think the town's gonna love it.
Yeah,
You know, the triptych is on every email the town sends out, right? I mean,
yeah.
we haven't had art in this town for very long and it features, you know, the downtown Superior. I don't know if you guys follow downtown Superior on Facebook, but they, every 2 weeks, they use our art as a PR piece, you know, they're doing the bus stops and saying, did you know that, you know,
Wait,
such
downtown Superior is a separate social media brand?
yeah,
The third district?
Well,
yeah.
He's using what I was saying, a telescopic forklift on his Instagram, not a crane.
It depends on where it is,
Yeah.
because he would have to be on the sidewalk and it's a longer distance. It's either gonna be a forklift boom or a crane, and it's likely gonna be a crane because of the distance.
Oh, cause it's, oh, okay.
It's
So if you go to that area, you'd have to see.
like a berm. There's 4 feet of kind of angled cobblestone or something up to this big platform. A little bit elevated.
He's all fact checking over there. It's good.
So what do we have to decide tonight?
If you want this, if you want to hit the pause button to potentially ask for his engineer to review the site as it is, or if you go forward with this.
Some total?
15.5, 15.3. It would drop down to 11.4 if the concrete was not required. And he's putting, he's putting 2 stones, right? Or something like that. So he's putting, 4,000 pounds of sandstone there. I really feel like I'm not a structural engineer, but.
$1,000 contingency too is not insignificant, so.
Yeah.
And at the top, he's got $1,500 of like administrative, that's his like general contract fee.
I mean, I would say if it was the start of the year, we could pause on it, but at this point, I just want to get this in. We've waited so long.
Do you, with me being gone, I mean, depending on what the vote is, would you or somebody be willing to continue
What
the
is my
conversation?
To like approve this,
Well, I think what you all could do is you could approve with,
if we could, if we said, if you get the concrete stricken, we approve the bid, and then, but then if he says yes, or the engineer says yes, who can say go?
I think, but for your motion, you could say full amount with the preference to negotiate down, you could put all that language in there and approve it, and then have the conversation with him and see if anything comes off, but if it doesn't, your committee has given you permission.
You said that she him down 3K, so it already stands at like, well.
No, already.
No, it was 18 something.
Just for the solution.
I'm in the wrong business.
He had maintenance stuff on there, and I said, we don't need a maintenance plan because we don't own it. And it's, so I did negotiation, a couple of line items off of here, and I kind of stopped because I felt like y'all needed to see it.
So what if you go in for just the bottom line and you say, I don't remember what the total was, but if you guys have a number that you're thinking is the right number and you say, you know what, we can't do it for 15.3, we got a limited budget.
For 10.
We can do it for 10, or we can do it for 10, and then you say, give him the ability to go up to 12. I mean, dude can watch his meeting right now, see the discussion, but.
Or review it anytime you want to.
It does, I mean, you could just say this is the number and then see if he can,
Right, and then he could shave from his administrative fee or whatever.
he can
whatever else.
finagle from whatever he wants. I mean, I'm just saying, that's how I usually
So how would-
negotiate things. I say, this is what I got to spend.
And from experience, if you budget a contingency item, it gets spent,
Yeah.
so strike that.
Yes.
So what would the motion be then? Motion to approve this for 10K with the contingency of 2.5 or 2?
Either that or
Any number.
Right, yeah.
or you
guys
could,
feel like it's the right.
word it in such a way, because I'm worried if you,
I think you just say this is the cap, If you, we're in a public meeting, so if you start saying, offer 10 and hope you can get up to 25, you can go ahead and see the meeting, so come up with whatever the number is you wanna do, and
and what happens if he says no?
Right, then we do it ourselves.
So we do it ourselves. Just like we're moving the screens ourselves.
Yep. Okay, so motion to approve this if it can be reduced down to
Well,
11.5.
let's do the math, let's strike that motion for just a second.
Maybe, I was just trying to
You kill the concrete footing, you kill the contingency, that's almost 5K right there.
Okay, so,
Or if you leave the concrete,
Shave the engineer a little bit. I mean, honestly, today's,
okay, so what do you think? We keep the administrator.
that might be what his engineer is quoting, though. He may not have the flex on them.
So it would be
the administrative and what else? Engineer, right?
No, that might be what his engineer is quoting, and he may not have the
You're right.
flexibility to change that.
What on our motions, yeah, would be, yeah.
Well, again, we're not trying to line item it. That's what trustee Hammerly is proposing.
I mean,
We-
that's
yeah,
the question is, you let him try and figure out,
Yeah.
you say, this is what we can spend.
I think we were just trying to figure out what the
What the
spend
actual
is, like,
yeah.
for example, like,
But it's minus cost. Which is.
Okay, so then we're down to.
the other thing I do want to note, though, is if his engineer feels, if the drawing and the engineer feels like the concrete needs to be there, I did check with our superintendent, and that concrete footing is, he said, an accurate price, if not lower.
It's a reasonable quote.
Yes.
Concrete required.
I guess the question.
So I'm just saying, I mean, you know how I feel, but if we do go in there and need to pour concrete, we would probably end up spending more, is what Matt Rarick said. Again, because a lot of times these artists have contractors that they work with on a consistent basis, and because of the quantity, they usually give them discounts.
Well, why don't we do the motion at 10K and just with room to negotiate for 1 to 2?
I'm feeling he gonna do that.
This, like, who said, did you guys look at all his work and this is the favorite work you saw?
This was something Chris found that he was willing, he had it in mind, but hadn't built it. So he built it for us in the first 2 months of the year or something because we were excited about it.
Yeah, it
So now it's been sitting in the shop.
wolf. It started as a wolf and a hawk, but there's no wolves here, so we changed it to a coyote. So he redesigned it.
So we're at 7:36 and we still have to go over workshops for next year, so can we just do a motion now for like, about 11K? 11?
So this is on top of what you're gonna actually pay for the piece of artwork. if you keep it. Is there any way you can negotiate that
That's what
50% of whatever you pay will go against?
that's what I'm
the piece?
hoping, but I don't think we have the ability to say that. So again, I'm just warning that if we come back with a negotiated price, it could end up taking a couple weeks just to negotiate. I don't know.
Well, if we can't negotiate, maybe we just don't continue the lease. I mean,
A
there's
couple
that.
weeks is worth 5K in my opinion,
I think so.
just a couple weeks.
I mean, if we're still negotiating by our next meeting, that's an issue. But you're gonna be gone, so who's gonna do it?
In my mind, we've already leased this again for next year.
We have.
I mean, because we've got this investment.
So if you built something intentionally for you guys to lease. This is, I guess, I'm gonna move on for that. The other question I was saying, maybe he would be a good artist for the Marble Fire Memorials project. It
That'll go to RFQ though. That needs to go out
needs to go out for.
to bid. And that's so far down the road. It could be a year or two for that. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with Chris that a month is worth 5K. JG seems to, I think, feel that he's not gonna come down, and so.
I don't know.
Getting installed increases the likelihood that we buy it.
Yes.
Right.
And I could send it to the 2 places I work at and just see what if they would want to submit a quote.
Again, that's gonna take time. I'm just saying, I think it's a great idea, but I'll pull up who he contacted. It's an install company, and they said they could not do it for 15.
Too much.
So then, yeah, we have to craft a motion then for 11K. We'll just punt it back to him.
I can just make the motion.
Who can communicate with him? Cause I don't think it would be good to wait 2 weeks to tell him.
Thank you, Chris.
You were in communication with, so he knows your email and he knows yours. Do you just want to copy Andrew?
So again, the motion would be, I don't know how to word the motion, somebody word it.
I motion that we approve an install budget of $11,000 contingent on artist approval.
Seconded.
Do you want a roll call vote? Or, motion, all in favor?
Roll call it.
Andrew,
Yes.
Stephanie,
Yes.
Sherry, Liza, Chris, Susan,
Yeah.
Brandon.
Yes.
14.
Yay. Did we have another one?
Yes.
Silencio.
Okay, this is in the opposite direction. And the reason why this one is so much lower is, the concrete pad is ours. And he doesn't need a crane. He doesn't need really much equipment at all. He's doing the forklift. But it's a 4-lane, so we can, get a permit to just block off one lane. So this one is a lot more straightforward.
Let's do it. So we need a motion.
And again, this is an investment in the site,
Yeah.
whether or not we keep this piece. I mean, the concrete base is movable itself, but even if we take the piece off the base, we can put something else there with like, I think this is acceptable to me.
Yeah.
We need to vote on this?
Mhm.
Motion to approve this quote for $2,750 for the installation of Silencio.
Second.
Andrew, or I guess we'll do it all in favor or roll.
Favor? That was everyone but Chris.
Okay, so I'm in communication with him. He knows that, so he's in refurb. And while I'm gone, I'm hoping that the concrete base gets placed so that I think the timing of his refurb and the concrete base on my return, I think we're looking at mid-October for that to go in. Okay?
Is he second correct?
I didn't.
It'd be nice to put that one in too.
I know, I warned you.
Minutes.
18 minutes. When does the work plan typically get submitted to the board?
In January. So we need to have the work plan needs to be completed at your December meeting.
We're ahead of that game.
I think it got approved last time in February. Is that right?
I think so.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes they go before the board either in January or February. It's because of the number of committees. But they want us to submit in January.
Sandy, in your opinion, what is our capacity to start planning? So I've sent this to the board already. I think they've reviewed it for budgeting purposes. But say we want to do this lecture series and we want one to be in January. We can't wait till January to start planning. What's our capacity to start working on things that are not in the 2024 plan, but
Like, it's really hard to program January.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
what's our flexibility with this?
Something like really weird that you think they go,
Coming Palooza.
would be, I can't imagine that you get pushed back on.
Yeah.
So I think you go ahead. Now, there's an election coming up and I might not be a trustee anymore, so, I might have to come in and argue for you instead of being a trustee, but, I can't imagine they would get you any grief about it. I mean, you can't wait,
Right.
you
Yeah.
have to go ahead and start planning.
But if for some reason your work plan didn't get in front of the board until February, that would be tough.
Right. Yeah, well, I can email it to him and, I can negotiate it with him privately, or we can get into one of the meetings in the winter or something and see if we can get some tentative approval to get started on some things.
Just so that you don't miss the month of January. Yeah.
Right.
If the artist that ends up not approving the budget for install, another way we could do it is get a fund, find how much it would be to install both disclosures. That's what might lower their cost.
They're separate artists though.
Doesn't matter, you don't need to.
Well, Mike has his own crew and engineer already, so we wouldn't wanna come in and tell him that,
Okay, so it's, all right,
yeah.
Use Mike's engineer.
Yeah, use Mike's in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because if you're renting the forklift for one, you can use it
Right.
to do both in the.
It's sort of an all or nothing, like we can't have Joe do some things and not others. He's either gonna just deliver the piece per the loan agreement, or he's going to install it with his crew and his engineer, and we're gonna try to negotiate it down, and we'll see where that goes.
Brandon's saying if he calls our bluff, maybe we could have Mike Clapper install the piece.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying.
pay him to do it.
And maybe simultaneously, right? Because he's already
Yeah.
got the telehandler and,
Yes.
you know.
But-
Installed in one day.
His is like a boom forklift, where Joe's needs a crane.
Okay, so the last thing on the discussion is the 2025 work plan.
What is the lecture series?
So, Susan and Brandon proposed not just workshops,
Right.
but for art to be approachable for people who are not themselves artists. So
Yeah.
it's a lecture series. And you guys,
An art.
please step in and describe what you have in mind here.
So, I did two things. So Drew had asked me to look at the town calendar and try to identify regular dates each month that we could have a workshop or a talk so that people know the fourth Tuesday, there'll be an art talk, and the third Saturday, there'll be a workshop. What Brandon and I were proposing is that we skip January and December, since people have holiday craziness and then post-holiday burnout. And we do programming from February through November, starting with one of the art talks, the fourth Tuesday, 6:30. And then alternate, so the next month, March, there would be a workshop, then April, a talk, so, on and on. We were going to call the art talks superior pairings, because we were gonna do two artists, and they might be artists like music and dance, things, things that kind of go together. So, the artists having dialogue. We were also talking about not spending a ton of money on it and trying to offer the artists some benefit. Like if they have workshops, we could help promote their workshops. They could bring flyers, just, things to make it a benefit. I don't know, as far as the workshops, how many are generally done each year, if 5 is less than or more. That's
Right on target.
Okay, perfect. So, that's what we were talking about. I also thought for a thought, getting the Golden Barrel, like a music and dance combo, could be an opportunity to collaborate with them in a different way as well.
That answer your question?
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll channel my inner Suze Paxson here about the getting artists to do things for exposure. We like to support artists financially as well, so I think hiring them and paying them is a good thing for their time and creativity and stuff. But yeah, also aiding them with publicity and and maybe leveraging that as well. But I don't think we should try to cheap out on artists. Is what we do here is support the arts.
Absolutely agree. Yeah.
So let's see, I can share this. I mean, we're way ahead of the game here on this, but it never hurts to be talking about it. I sent this to the board, and this is what we talked about in our meeting. So yeah, a description of the basic stuff. So now in the budget meeting, they tried to trim us to 50, and Sandy pushed back and got us back to 70, which is not, I think, final. Not completely final, is that true?
The budget won't be approved until October. We'll have 2 meetings and we'll approve the bond, but
But we could kind of loosely, this number is,
it'll be approved before I'm not a trustee anymore. So you got a shot.
everybody vote. Everybody vote.
Remember who your friends are. And I'm not
So-
saying any other trustee would not be a good friend.
So we put 80 in here. This is just the sum of this. This was pretty generous. So I think by trimming fat, we'll get it back to 70. We have the winter event in here, and this is something we should also mention. We have this in 2024, and JD and I have been talking. This is probably a non-starter in 2024 as it happens, because it's going to be outside in the plaza with probably no component in the stable or the civic center.
What
So
winter event?
this is the ornament workshop,
Winter Festival,
Winterfest.
The one, through the chamber?
The one that we did, yeah, that we did. So
the one that was
successfully.
here
Oh,
last
yeah.
year is now gonna be downtown, and it's led mostly by the chamber, not the town, not that the town's
Who
not
was gonna
involved.
do the ornaments?
May not have-
This has been
right
on,
here.
in your work plan all
Yeah.
year, but there's been the on and off conversations about whether or not CAPS wanted to do it this year. And, you know, we were, I think, hoping the Civic Center would be open, but it's not. It's gonna be outside. It's gonna be almost impossible.
Dude, and I can't.
Yeah.
It's because we're booked up, so that should have been decided months, like back in July for us.
I remember in the chamber, so I,
Yeah, we're doing that event.
I signed
Yeah.
up for it because I thought we weren't doing.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought too.
No, I think it's just an absolute make sure,
Yeah,
check in.
So what you're doing, what event with the chamber?
we're doing that with the chamber. We already signed up with them.
What,
I'm a business, actually.
Yeah.
no, but what are you doing? Because it's gonna be outside. Are you doing art and stuff?
Oh, no, not a cut, not a
Oh.
workshop or anything, just like promoting
Finished pieces,
totems.
Yeah.
And garden stacks,
ornaments,
Okay.
not ornaments.
mine are artists.
Okay, and,
Next year, yeah,
And next year, the Civics Center should be open.
right,
so-
yeah, yeah. But I mean, last I heard, we weren't gonna be doing the winter events, so.
Oh.
We booked up December.
Yeah, but this is, he's got, that was 2025.
So that's for 2025.
I'm showing 2025. It just
Okay.
reminded me that in 2024, we have the same budget that we can put to installing confetti. Stephanie, you were anxious to, so I had this in our meeting last time.
Right.
We had creative events. Nobody really jumped.
Okay, claims.
Remind me, Susan, you have February as a seminar, right? As a,
Yeah, so it's got you down for quite more.
well, I mean, I just
Okay.
literally just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I would pencil in these in because nobody was really jumping to volunteer, as it turns out. Chris was an AI maybe.
Workshop?
Yeah, workshop, yeah.
Yeah, I was excited,
yeah, there's a claim march,
but not totems, I want some chat.
Mhm.
right?
And the photo walk is fantastic, and I think we'll build momentum. I'm excited to do that again. And Stephanie, I assume you'll do stained glass at some point.
Yeah,
We don't
probably
even-
in September, because August, September are my shows. Probably June. Oh, you've already got June.
Well, so if we stick to Susan's schedule and see no reason not to, we've got these
So
are
I
the
can't do
workshop
July.
months. Okay, how about November?
I can do November.
Okay, there you go.
Sorry, were you proposing that it would be Superior Pairings the third Tuesday?
The fourth
Fourth
Tuesday at
Tuesday?
6:30.
And then what was the Saturday stuff? That was for workshops?
Third Saturday for
Right.
workshops.
So would it alternate or would we have both each month?
No, it would alternate, so there'd be 5 and 5.
Okay,
Just put hold up on September. I mean, that might change depending on how this goes, but you can. It feels good to plug something in there.
if you do a workshop in June, I can do one in June as well. But July, kind of iffy.
Okay, and we also, one thing to think about is we do not have to run all these, right? The photo walk, I hired somebody for, and we have budget again, like, we do not need to be the ones, we put in the organizational legwork, but don't have to be at the front of the class.
Yeah. I
So if
mean,
there's something that skill that we don't have that we'd love to teach and engage the community, we just type it in here and somebody just has to.
Do you find it organizationally?
So much fun, I've done it in workshops with even adults don't want to stop doing, believe it or not.
There we go. I
It's
mean,
G
this is-
GELLI. Just.
It's cello. And we're turning this in sometime in the winter, right? So we're ahead of the curve here.
So do you want to do stained glass in June? Or are you guys gonna keep that with this seminar?
Yeah, I mean, this is,
Because I'm teaching workshops with CB Arts next year too, so I'm fine either way.
the current proposal is to do this alternating pattern. So June is the seminar month. I don't think anything stops us from throwing an extra one in there. Seriously, we just do it. So,
If you want to, just do it because I am planning out my year far enough in advance.
Oh, yeah.
okay, we have just a couple of minutes. I'll just mention that, I don't know if anybody read this, but I did the whole thing. I didn't make my Gantt chart that Trustee Shaw likes so much, and I may, but when I was going through it, it kind of felt like everything was all year. It was just like, it felt like everything was just like do it all year.
Oh, geocaching. I can't wait to get started on that, by the way.
Yep, I put you down for that. And then, down here, project details, I wrote a couple of paragraphs and put in some pictures about, getting in plaques like Lafayette's doing. Brandon, here's your, what did I put in for the budget for media? 10K for expanding our reach for social media, recording ribbon cuttings and all that kind of stuff. You're in charge in that one?
We had talked about, maybe having at some point, a meeting with the comms department, just to find out what.
Yeah.
And we can do that if you just let me know. I can schedule it for the next month ahead, but you know what I mean? So, and they're happy to sit down and talk to us about what they can and can't do and, kind of reiterating the timeline of things and maybe asking about social media stuff and why some things are there more than others. And, that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and a lot of these things come down to bandwidth. Somebody like you being willing to do it, to nag, to raise the conversation, that kind of stuff, just we run out of bandwidth to continue to press that stuff.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing about the local grant, because something like yard work, where it's like a pop-up exhibition that does done out in a park, that could be something separate than any caps.
And yeah, so the Rainworks was on here. That was one of Sherry's, AR comp. We do again. I think some of these things we're going to get momentum on.
I'd like to see another AI art talk, like what you did at the start of this year. That was so popular. That would be cool to do another one.
He's a maybe right here.
Maybe. Sorry, Chris.
Okay, so we're about out of time. I don't know that, we did the workshop discussion and stuff, and we can continue on this.
How soon can we start if we put the art pieces in, could we start the geocaching when they go in? Do you think? I got the geobox.
I mean, it's in the 2025. Is it in this year's work plan and budget?
Had a scavenger hunt that we haven't done in the work plan, so.
Wiggle room.
Ooh,
Yeah.
there's some wiggle, okay. Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay, any final go back? It's in the last 1 minute.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second it. Out of here.
Recording stopped.
Thank you all.
Woo! Another good one.